Anyway, so we're playing Game of Thrones here today, huh? While Lydia is working very hard to get things fixed for us, which we appreciate very much. And can we give a huge shout out to Lydia, half-ass hermit behind the scenes, who's working very hard right now, whom we love very much. Game of Thrones. Back into Westeros. It's the north. It's cold. It's snowy. Much like outside my window presently. We got some snow going on, so I'm method. So let's say who we are and what characters we play, so we can refresh everybody and keep everybody and get back into that zone. I will go clockwise from me, which I suppose is Trooper. Hi, Trooper.
Hi, I'm with a brick, and I'm playing Mon Murai. Wait, no, that's not right. I'm Trooper. No, sorry. Oh, that look that Ziggy gave me says that she's going to murder my character today. Oh well. I'm Trooper SJP. I'm happy to be here. I am playing Maester Nymor, who is the Braddock family maester, but rather than like an old boring maester, he's a young fun maester. 25, from Dorne. Once you become a maester, you give up your name. So he doesn't have a last name, but it's Martell, in case you wanted to know. And right now he's at the Braddock Keep, Greenwall Keep, trying to keep young Lord Brynden Braddock safe and not freaking out. But I think he's doing a poor job of it. That's me.
All right, well, that remains to be seen, and whether or not young Brynden is safe by the end of this episode, only the fates will know. Not my notebook, which does currently have notes in it to that effect. Anyway, moving swiftly on to the lovely Shauna. Hi, Shauna.
Hey, I'm Shauna. I'm playing Riona Braddock, the youngest of the two twins, and she is on her first trip, basically out of home to Winterfell, and maybe as a love interest, I don't know. I'm scared, very scared.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on with that boy? Anyway, next to the lovely Shauna who plays Riona, we have Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hey. I'm Bill of the Forest. That's where you can find me on the internet, and I am having a ball. My character, Brolin, got his ass whooped, but came out victorious, and I'm looking forward to all the chaos that may or may not happen, because Lord Stark wanted to have it out in the dueling yard today. So I don't foresee anything possibly wrong happening in that vein at all. Only good things, putting those good vibes out there in the universe. I love this cast, love this crew. Special shout out to Lydia for doing all this stuff on the fly. That is some master tech work. Yo, just I don't know if y'all have a heart emoji here. Put some heart emojis in chat for Lydia. Just straight up baller. And yeah, I'm excited.
Sweet. Thank you very much, Bill. And moving across to the wonderful person who plays Brolin's lovely wife. We have Prax. Hi, Prax.
Hey, all. You know me. I'm at George John on Twitter, or Praxgorth as me authorities. You see me around on Twitch. And I get to play Lyneth Braddock. And things are interesting in Winterfell. I am entirely sure that this will be entirely fine. There's no problem whatsoever about my husband having a fight with the Lord Stark after a slightly more violent altercation the night before. And not concerned at all about what's going on at Greenwall Keep. Not at all. No concerns. Because everything's fine. And totally don't think that Nymor is inciting rebellion. It's fine.
I just love after every session, there's at least one message in our group chat that's like, stop helping Nymor! Please!
I'm just helping. That's it. Just helping.
But the young lord that is being helped by the Martell Maester is Mr. Johnny Blams.
Hello there. I'm Johnny Blams. My friends call me Jables. No, they don't. I made that up as I was sitting here. I play Brynden Braddock, the young, broody, moody bow boy. The wild card, I would like to think of the cast at this moment. Actually, they're all kind of wild cards, and that's even more terrifying. Last episode, we saw Brynden get himself a little squire named Geralt, and we had a nice little training sesh. And then he learned about a secret spot where a Braddock ancestor used to have visions of green sight and crazy, spooky prophecy things. So I'm pumped to see what comes to fruition today. Really stoked.
All right.
But didn't you promise not to go there? I
did promise on a very
That's
bad
right.
deception check. That was an 11, and we tied. So, oh boy, with the lie.
I mean, this family, you know, they're so cohesive, so tied together, no secrets, no lies, nothing that would tear them apart except me. Hello, I am Susie, I am the game master, and I play all the Northerners. You will hear me say bastard a lot tonight, and in advance I am sorry for that, but I am from Yorkshire, that is our comma. Anyway, so last week we had some interesting intrigue and violence and all sorts of prophecy and kind of really cool stuff bubbling on the surface. And I would like to start back in Winterfell. It has been the night has passed, and bright and early, waiting in the training yard for Brolin, is Lord Brandon Stark, who is there in a gambeson holding a blunted training weapon, and he is basically doing his little warm-up, so he is ready for the sparring. We go over to Brolin. What would you like to do? How's your morning start?
So he would have been up since he's been healing, so there's no reason for him to stay up late and do stuff. He would have been well rested, and he would have woken up at the first crowing if there's roosters around. Cawing, cuckooing. Which one is it? Oh, the rooster speak, where they sing the song of their people in the morning. And he would have started with a physical warm up, shake out all of the pain that had happened the day prior, and then met out in the training yard. Would they have outfitted him in similar garments?
I don't know if they would have outfitted you. It would probably be assumed that you would have some sort of padded gambeson with you. If you didn't, one could be made available, but it wouldn't be super nice. It would probably be one of the guards' spares that they would give you. They would give you blunted training weapons, as they obviously would not trust you to use your actual weapons against the Lord of Winterfell.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. So would it be customary to just wear normal armor for a training exercise? Would that be something?
Unless it was determined it would be an armored training exercise, no. It would just,
Cool.
So if you rocked up in your special gear, they'd probably be a little huh.
Yeah, then I would see if they could. Actually, I would just be out there in plain clothes, doing stretches and mobility things, and then once if there's a master at arms providing blunted weapons, I'd ask for a long axe.
Okay. I think one's made available for you. It's the north, right? Not everyone fights with swords up here, so there would be one.
Cool. He would acknowledge. I feel like he would be the first person in the training area.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's ready for this moment. And then as he's warming up and doing his, he'd look over. Lord Stark.
And Brynden looks over to you as he's doing his his arm stretches, and you can see this dude is clearly a warrior the way he's built, and he just nods at you. Lord Braddock, you looking well this morning? Face is healing up nice.
Unfortunately, I can't get any prettier.
You're a northerner. That's as pretty as you're ever gonna get.
So,
You ready?
I'm ready. You're the host, so I suppose you can lay down the ground rules.
Well, this is just a friendly spa. I'm not here to kill each other. And I can see that you're fucked. So I'm not gonna try and actually hit you. Unless, of course, you want me to.
I mean, we got weapons. They ain't wet noodles.
Alright. But
want to see-
I wanna be...
If you want to see how I fight and how my men fight, a little intensity reveals a lot.
Alright. Alright. Fair enough. But I want word to go to your wife that you okayed this. Because if I have her screaming in my face because I knocked you out, I'm not going to be happy about that.
Of all the people she might scream at, I don't think you're one of them.
And he sort of smiles and chuckles to himself. Alright. Well, I mean, she's a Tyrell. And then he sort of moves to the center and takes up position. He has a long sword. No, I won't say a long sword because people that know swords get really iffy. He's got a hand and a half sword, and he's there, ready, in position. He's taken up like a sort of neutral-ish stance. He's not an aggressive stance or a defensive. He's kind of between the two. He's trying to gauge where you are.
Gotcha.
A hand and a half sword. Aren't they also known as bastard swords?
They are indeed known as bastard swords. That's true, but
Or in
I didn't wanna
Susie's
say
case,
it.
a comma sword.
comma swords. There we go.
Yeah, so, and just refresh my memory on how hit points regenerate. Like, how many of those bad boys do I got left right now?
Okay, so your hit points will they come back completely
Okay,
between
cool, perfect.
encounters. You still have one wound, which will reduce your dice by 1, because we discussed after the session that Brolin would have been seen to by the Maester at Winterfell and has cured him of one of the wounds and the injuries that he suffered in the punch-up. But some wounds and some major damage takes longer to heal up. So it's going to be a week in game time before Brolin is completely healed. So he still has one wound, which means he's at a 1 dice penalty. But he is not as knackered as he was the day before.
Gotcha. So he'll like in a predatory manner, like walk like around if Brandon's kind of like opposing him, he'll like walk around and keep his gaze with the Lord of Winterfell and drag his poleaxe behind him and make this like obnoxious sound as it drags against the dirt. And then is there a whistle or anything signifying the start of the training exercise?
No, so what we would do now is we would go into initiative to determine who moves first, who acts first.
Okay.
So to do our initiative, it is agility quickness on your character sheet.
And I take a -1 dice penalty to that, correct?
That's right, yep. Oh, Brynden! Holy shit, my dude!
Ooh, just a little bit quicker than me.
Just a little bit quicker. So he's playing very defensively. He is going to, as you're sort of pacing around him, you can see he's watching you, and his eyes are watching your eyes. Like, he's not distracted by your feet or the axe or whatever it is that you may be trying to do to throw him off your, like, real intentions. He's like, you know, it's that old adage of you watch another fighter's eyes, you can tell what they're going to do next. And so he's watching your eyes, and he's going to make a cautious attack, which means he does have a -1 dice penalty to his fighting test, but he gets +3 to his combat defense until the start of his next turn. So it's gonna
+3
be a little
dice or
harder.
+3?
Just a flat +3, make it a little bit harder for you to hit him on his next turn. So he is going to make his fighting test with 1 penalty dice. A 16 against your combat defense.
Combat defense is 8. Does the Gambison provide anything? Or
Hang on.
hinder? Oh, sorry.
It wouldn't hinder.
Without the... Sorry, I have that with the armor on. It's an 11 without the splint mail that I would normally be wearing.
Okay, doke. That makes sense. If only I could find armor quickly in this bloody book every time. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so we will say this is padded. Which gives you an armor rating of 1 and armor penalty of 0. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to absorb 1 damage when he hits you.
Gotcha.
But doesn't affect combat defense. So your combat defense was 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he hit you for a 16. So that is 1 degree of success. That's a 5. So he is going to hit you for, if you bear with me 1 second. Athletics. It hits you for 5. So your armor will absorb 1 of that. So it's 4.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, and thank you so much for that Big Crits donation earlier. Didn't shout that out, but thank you. That is an extra dice to everyone on screen at present. So you could use that if you want to on your next turn, Brolin. But it is now your turn, as he has... he cautiously, I think, as you sort of circle around him, as you come near the front, he sort of steps back, but in doing so, like, reaches out with, like, a sword jab, just to get some distance between the two of you and keep his guard up, keep you on his sword side, as he sort of makes this maneuver with his cautious attack.
So he would kind of lunge, and he would get Brolin like right in the gut, but he would let that momentum work with him and take a step back with his back foot, twist his hips, and where he wanted distance as an intention, the poleaxe succeeds at some distance. So he's going to rotate with his hips and come around, put 110% of his weight into his next strike, aiming for the torso area, not like a lethal area, but and he's gonna do a reckless attack.
Ooh, okie dokie, a reckless attack.
Yeah, let me put that in the chat. And this is with the 1 dice penalty.
Yep, but you gain a dice against that, so I wouldn't take out that dice penalty.
Oh, okay. Let me roll a 1d6 and add it. So that's a 28 total.
28 total. Holy shit. Okay, were there any 6s in there? Let's have a look.
There's 1.
You've got 1 6. Okay, because 28 is double his combat defense. So that means that was a critical hit upon the Lord Stark. So hang on, let me just do a little bit of maths, because his combat defense is... Okay, that was 4 degrees of success with 1 critical hit, which means it ignores 2 of his armor rating, so his Gambison is going to do nothing to protect him. So with a polearm, your damage is your athletics rank +3 as your base.
All right. Well, my athletics rank is chonky. It's a chonky 4.
4 + 3 as a base is 7. That's 4 degrees of success. That's okay. That's a lot. The Lord Sark is gonna take an injury to nullify that. Take a wound, sorry, to nullify that. Jesus Christ.
Now, like, since this is still a training exercise and Brolin clearly didn't strike anywhere lethal, how does this visually pan out? Who gets to do that?
I think as you bring this polearm around and you like crack him in the stomach, it knocks him off his feet. I think it sends him flying down into the snow and the dirt and sand beneath him. And he is like clutching at his chest for a minute, and you hear his breath rasp as he takes in a couple of big hits, as he is clearly very wounded, and this chest area is going to be incredibly bruised, if not a rib broken at the very least.
Can Brolin then, like, forget his battle posture and then, like, walk over, put his poleaxe into the ground, and extend a hand to help him up?
Yeah, 100%. And as you help him up, he laughs almost, you know, like it's that dude, like, oh yeah, you got me good, bro. But there's a little flash of something in his eyes that is like, you dick. Because he's the Lord of Winterfell, right? He's not used to people hitting him this hard in training. But it is now his turn, and as you extend the hand to pull him up, he steps back and he says, again. And he's going to come at you with a maneuver to begin with. He's going to try and get past that polearm. So he needs to make a fighting test against your passive fighting result. So we'll see how he does. I'm actually going to use one of my little blue guys. So your passive fighting is, if you look at your character sheet and you go down to your fighting skill, and it'll say the big number, and then there's like a little number in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's your passive.
Okay. Big number. Oh yes, and in the info and abilities, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's that big list with all your skills and stuff.
Okay. Passive fighting is 20.
Okay, and he got a 24, which beats your passive, which means that on your next turn, you have another minus die penalty, because he's managed to get through and maneuvered past you. But now he's going to come at you with just standard attack. Bump him back down to that. With a 15 against your combat defense.
Which is an 11.
An 11. So that's 1 degree of success. He is going to hit you for 5 again.
Sorry, the penalty for reckless. Don't forget to include that as well, because I made a reckless attack last turn.
That's right, you did. So your combat defense is now -5 what it was, which means that's now become 2 degrees of success, and he is going to hit you for 10 this time. But your armor will absorb 1, so he hits you for 9.
And in taking an injury, the more temporary of the two would reduce it by my endurance?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to take an injury to stay up. So I'm taking an injury.
Okay. So I think that there's anger in his eyes, and he doesn't come at you with the sword. He comes at you with a headbutt as he gets past your defense, and he just comes in and just bam, smashes you straight in the nose that was already injured from the fight last night.
And I'm gonna say that like his face, his head comes into my head, and like you can see, like if anybody watches MMA, you see a guy get like clocked in the nose so hard it goes crooked, and so you could see that like there's, this is gonna need some major reworking if he's gonna not have like this skull face situation.
The nose just goes across his face, blood spurts out, and I think even part of the blood gets onto Brynden's face, and he's grinning at you now with a smile. It's kind of like the, you're in the big leagues now, kid smile, as he's glaring, like, he's kind of taken in the moment of this fight.
And then, like after break is like his head goes back from like the shattering of the nose, and like it's mangled, it's all over the place, and then you can see like his eyes have changed and his eyes have gone big and they're a little bloodshot, and you see this like the blood is dripping down again into his mouth, and you see this insane smile where his white teeth are just red from his own blood, and he is like this is his moment. This is the things that he lives for, and he'll return that big leagues right back. Okay, let's.
Oh boy. And this was the day that the House Stark line was ended.
Okay. Okay. 1 second, let me finish reading something.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna... Do I want to kill him?
Do you want to kill him?
Yes, but no. But yes.
I've been there, buddy. I know this feeling.
Okay,
Look into your heart, Simba.
Here's the thing. We only have like a couple episodes left, so I'm gonna use all my cool shit now and see what happens. So I'm there's the Axe Fighter 2. So that's one of the abilities that I have. I can sacrifice my bonus dice, and with 2 degrees of success, apply another wound in addition to the damage. So I'm going to do that, and sacrificing the bonus dice equals. I'm going to use my blue one, so I only have 1 negative or 2 negative.
Yep, you just have
Two.
1? 2?
I came in with 1 negative. I took a wound, so I have 2 negative. Using a blue, so it's 1 negative. And did he just impose another negative dice on me from the last round?
That's right, yes. So you have 2 negatives.
Okay.
Didn't you take an injury, not a wound?
No,
you
I
took
took a wound.
Yeah, injury is minus... Oh, you took a wound? Not an injury. The injury
injury.
is the non-permanent ones.
Right. I had to take a wound to stay up.
Okay. So a wound is a minus die. An injury is just a -1. The injury is the one that heals pretty quick. And is the one that
and if I would
reduces
have
by
taken an
endurance.
injury, it would have knocked me out.
The one that reduces by
It would have
endurance,
taken me
right?
out the game. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you
It was
took a
not- it
wound,
was-
not an injury.
Correct. So I have 2 wounds
Okay,
now.
all right. Okay, all right, you have 2. Ooh, okay.
And let me paste this in there. Okay. All right, luck be with me.
Ooh, a 23. Okay, again, double his defense, which is, it's going to be 15, 20. It's 3 degrees of success with 1 6, so his armor rating is ignored because it's a crit. So that is going to be, again, what was it? athletics +3, which was 7 as your base. So 21 points of damage to Lord Stark and a forced wound.
And here's how he's going to play this. He's going to do the same exact maneuver, which from a fighter's standpoint, like he had time to account for it, and didn't. So he's going to spin around after, there's blood everywhere. And so if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, there's this fan of blood that propels off of Brolin's face and probably lands on the Stark. And he's going to come around and lead with his left leg and do a home run swing with his long axe and hit him square in the chest with the flat side of the blade with so much power that it knocked him to the ground again, but intentionally with a bludgeon instead of the piercing of the blunt that would potentially break some ribs. So this is not only probably, I'll let you decide what happens, but he's aiming to launch him into the barracks from here.
All right, you call your shot, you send the Lord flying. He lands, and it's that sort of skid, and he rolls over a couple of times with the momentum. And he is face down in the snow for a moment. He doesn't move before his hand comes out from beneath him, plants on the ground, his other plants, and he starts to push himself up. He stands, and he's kind of stooping over a little and breathing really heavily, one hand holding his chest at this point, as he looks at you and says, "The fuck is this, Braddock?" You playing
and
it?
he'll take his poleaxe and he'll walk over to him in the same kind of manner, put his poleaxe right next to him, and offer his hand to help him up.
And he cracks his neck, takes your hand, pulls himself up.
You wanted to see how I fight. That's how I fight.
He coughs, a little bit of blood comes out. That's not bad for a Braddock.
Words.
Come on, we needed beer.
A couple.
And he sort of, fucking lie. And he sort of, you pop each other up in a way because you've both taken big hits, and you make your way over to the hall. Breakfast is on its way. Breakfast is starting to start. People are starting to trickle in and take seats. And Stark goes up to his table, his main table, and sits himself down. And I feel like maybe you start to head off to where you were seated the previous time, because it's protocol, right? Even being raised as you were, you will have been told protocol to not assume that you were ever welcome at the Lord's table unless invited. But as you start to step away, he says, "Up here, Braddock."
Is there room for my family?
And he calls over a servant and has a couple of quiet words. "Yeah, they can sit up here."
Thank you, Lord Stark.
At which point, Lyneth and Riona, what are you doing at this time?
So, Lynette, I remember the way Winterfell is set up and where the training yard is. There's that, balcony kind of over the pass-through that you could kind of stand above. And I think Lyneth has been standing there, watching this fight, and looking, one of those things where she made an effort to look absolutely perfect, and her face is absolutely pristine. It's this is just another day watching two guys prove that they are, in fact, idiots. But under her, and she's got her sleeves pulled down over her hands because it's cold, and she's kind of got them pulled in. If you looked at her hands, her knuckles are white because she knows that you can have even though the weapons are blunted, you could die in a training exercise like this. And she's infinitely aware of that. And so she's just like, I can't say anything, I can't do anything, but I'm going to be here. And then once she sees Brolin start to pull the two of them up, and they start moving away, she'll just kind of sigh. And if Riona's there, she'll like turn to her and smile and say, well, I guess breakfast is served.
Oh, the training went well.
No one died. So yes, training went well.
Good. It would be inconvenient if either one of those two things happened, so glad it went well.
It would be extremely inconvenient. And she just kind of like link arms with Riona and just like leans slightly closer as if, just to be. Perhaps it might do if we could, perhaps we might look into seeing about encouraging the Lord Stark. There is, of course, the old adage that when the winds howl, the pack survives and the lone wolf dies. But sometimes wolves can be land or sea to fill out the pack.
Oh, I see. Lone wolf
Others
doesn't.
might consider.
Oh, so go ahead.
No, continue.
That's it. Sometimes a wolf looks for other packs, other wolves. Guess you're right.
And it's almost always preferable for a wolf to find a different pack instead of finding a hunter or a man who would take advantage of a lone wolf.
Certainly. Well, it's advantageous for all of us, considering the problems the Starks are having. Having someone friendly with experience with foes in the sea. It's a good opportunity.
Exactly. So, we shall make our presents and greetings. And see if your fool brother hasn't hurt himself even further than he did last night.
Be hard not to, but if he's walking, he's perfectly fine, I guess. You know how he is.
Yes, I am very aware of how he is. I'm sure it'll be fine. And if not, we'll just remind him quietly why it's not fine at all.
Wow.
All
We should
right.
hurry down.
Sorry then.
Oh, no, that's...
Okay, so you head down to breakfast, and you find that places have been made available for you on the Lord's table with Lord Stark. You are not seated particularly close to him. Brolin is currently sat on his right-hand side, and Brandon's trying to ply him with beer, and then like they're telling, he's telling war stories and like, oh, that was a good maneuver that you did with the poleaxe there, you tricky bastard, I didn't see you. They're having like bro talk, and you are seated on the other side of Brolin. But Roland, there's a part at the breakfast after Brandon has started to eat his fill. He's had whatever it is they eat in Westeros for breakfast, honeyed stuff with beer and ale and bread and porridge, probably. So after a while, Brandon wipes porridge oats from his beard, and he says, "Take a walk with me, Brolin."
He'll look over at Lyneth.
And she'd just smile and nod, and it's like, I'll see you later, darling.
don't forget this. Pretty as a fizzle.
Oh.
I think
Okay,
when Brolin gets up, I think Riona's just as she's maybe drinks, just gives him like a look like, good job, just like in a look.
And he'll be like, fuck.
All right. So Brynden has already stood up and started walking off, and he gives you time. He knows that you've got a family here. So if there's anything you want to say to them before you head off, anything you want to put in motion before you have a talk.
No, I mean, I feel like anything he would say, Lyneth and Riona already know.
Okay. So, cut to a Law and Order-esque walk and talk as you and, because we can't have enough of these in the show, you and Brynden are the Westeros wing. I mean, come on, it's right there. You and Brynden are on the walls of Winterfell. It is snowing quite heavily. And he has his big cape on, and he's all like, winter is coming, Starky, And he looks across, stops and looks across the land, which is now covered in this blanket of white. And he says, quietly, even up here in frigid north, there's fucking snakes everywhere. You know what happened to my brother?
What kind of snakes are you talking about?
Oh, you know the
It's
kind.
It's unfortunate.
I
wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Not entirely sure it was the work of the Skagosi that killed him, though.
So then what's the rebellion about, and who do you think did it?
Oh no, don't get me wrong, the Skagosi are rebelling right now. They are pushing their fucking luck, and they are taking places that I am supposed to be protecting. But I don't think the Skagosi killed my brother. Or at least if they did, they were set up to do it.
Yeah, from who?
Fuck knows. But there's someone here playing a game. I don't know if it's Bolton, I don't know if it's Manderley, I don't know if it's fucking Flint, I don't know who it is. But someone here is playing a game, and I'm not having it in my keep.
Well, if they're playing a game and trying to oust your house in Winterfell, surely you've got a plan for that.
Honestly, I don't have a clue. I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter. I was never supposed to be Lord of Winterfell. I was supposed to be a soldier. It was my brother. He was raised for that. But then again, he couldn't have a kid and keep it alive for more than a fucking month, so it fell to me. And here
Sometimes.
I am, not a clue how to run a fucking kingdom.
Oh. It's smaller, but I came up in a similar way. I spent the best years of my life so far fighting. And then my oldest sis died. And passed to me, the lordship. She was perfect. Groomed for it. And then... But I did a lot of learning the last 2 years. But I've still got... I can't get rid of the fighter in me, obviously, clearly.
Yeah, you bastard, fucking hell.
And I know our houses. I hit you with the big end, not the sharp end. So
I'm just fucking with
I'm
you.
not too bright, but I know if I tried to kill you, it would not bode too well for me and my house. You know, it's a responsibility now I have to look after. I didn't ask for it, but I have it.
No, that's
Now-
why I wanted to talk to you.
I
Because-
know our houses have had our differences.
Mm-hmm.
A century or two or more. But I'm still behind. There must always be a Stark and Winterfell. Every kid in the North hears that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's that history between our houses is why I wanted to talk to you. Because if they're going to try and recruit anyone, it'd be you. I'm not going to pretend that our ancestors didn't fuck up. I'm not going to pretend that, everything's rosy between the two of us. There's centuries of pain there, centuries of hurt, centuries of anger. And, in the North, we don't forget. The North remembers. Everyone knows that.
Painfully will.
But I'm hoping that, I don't know. I'm hoping that I can try and mend that a bit. Try and make sure that these fucking vipers, whoever they are, don't destroy the North more than they already have. Because we cannot afford right now to be arguing and fighting amongst ourselves when the Skugosi are over there pillaging, murdering, whatever the fuck it is they do with people they kill. I think I've seen some of them eat them. We can't afford that. I can't afford to lose any more people. So I guess what I'm asking Brolin is, do I have you?
I've got some ideas. Hear me out.
Go on.
You've got so many people behind up here, and the Skugosi are hitting your coasts, hitting your smaller lords. Have you taken the fight to them on the little island?
Not yet. Barthagen never wanted to. He wasn't made for that, He was made for soldiers lining up in the field and running at each other. That was his sort of fighting. That was his war.
And that might work in large open fields, but there's none of that in Skagos. What I can do, if we can find a way to get a large amount of Braddock longships over to the east coast, and take the fight to them. Not in open fields, but acclimate the troops to rocks, shores, attack fast, attack hard. Cut their supply lines. They've openly attacked your lords. Openly.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it coming. And so if they play the game a certain way, we beat them at their game. But it's interesting that you just said that people are looking to recruit me to go against you. And so may I offer a counterplay? Instead of bringing me closer, push me away. Then we'll see who approaches me. And I can, one way or another, let you know.
He sort of takes a minute, Jesus, I went really Yorkshire then. Takes a minute looking out across the snows to really contemplate, and he nods Before he chuckles to himself, that fucking southern wife of yours is rubbing off on you.
She's doing more than rubbing off on me.
And he like punches you in the shoulder.
But if you want to put on this show, I have a family to look after. I've got young Riona, who's quite fond of the Manderley boy. I've got...
Brynden, you help me with this court, and I will give my blessing to whatever fucking marriage you want with your sister. Fuck, I'll marry her myself.
Let's let Riona have a say in this. You know how we do things on the West Coast.
Fucking odd, but who am I to judge?
Oh man, you've seen my wife. How'd you leave your best swordsman with the archers?
Fair.
So, that's my plan.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna have to be convincing.
Well, first can you get my boats to the East Coast, or do I have to sail all the way south around Dawn?
Fucking hell. No, we'll get him. We'll get him across. Winter hasn't set in yet. It is coming, but it hasn't set in yet. Or we can get some men. We can get them moved. It's gonna be a bastard, but we can do it. Logistical fucking nightmare, but better than sailing south. Past the Ironborn, past the fucking Dornish, back up north again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as for making this convincing, I don't know. I punch you, you punch me, and then you start yelling a whole bunch. Your guards come after me and kick me out the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kick out your family and all. But there is a hamlet not too far away. You could find accommodations there.
I suppose you could send another maester for my nose.
We'll get you looked after.
And what's the name of the hamlet?
It's called Winterfell because it's close to the keep. They're not that original up here. It's just Winterfell Hamlet.
Fair enough. All right, you want the first blow?
We gotta do this publicly. Come on.
Oh shit! Okay.
And so, Lyneth and Riona, you are enjoying the end of your breakfast as Brolin and Brynden come back in. And Brynden comes through first, and he looks furious. His face is angry. His brows are furrowed. And as Brolin steps through the door, there's just angry yelling and shouting at him. Accusations of treason and betrayal are being spat at Brolin. Brolin, how are you acting in this scene?
Well, since Brolin's such a good actor, he's going to take a page out of the book of doing Treasure Island in middle school. And in the throes of death, Captain Billy Bones, for about 20 seconds before he collapses, has a heart attack. And so he's going to harness all that, and he's going to look, how dare you Treason! I've done nothing but serve the North! How dare you!
Can I just ask, can Lyneth determine how... I mean, she's seen her husband attempt to lie before.
Okay, I would say probably
because...
because you know Brolin. It would be... I'm not going to make you roll for this because you know him. This is going to be a fairly easy thing to figure out that he is hamming this up, right? Like, you know him. You've seen his various moods. And Brynden, it's too many B's, turns and just right hook right into the jaw of Brolin and just cracks you in the jaw and orders his men to seize you and throw you from the keep. And then he turns and points at Lyneth and Riona and he's like, get them out of my fucking sight and all. Like he is like in full anger, rage, as he returns to his seat and slams himself down, angrily drinks his ale, and rests a hand on ice, which is still across the table. As you are gently escorted from the hall, Lyneth and Riona. Is there anything you'd like to say as this is happening? Like guards come over and they're like, ladies.
I think Lyneth would just kind of like put her hand on Riona and like kind of squeeze as like, don't know what they've done, but apparently they've decided that this is something that's going to happen, so just roll with it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And she's going to stand perfectly straight and just give a perfect curtsy to the Lord Paramount. And be like, we thank you for your kind hospitality, Lord Stark. Until next time. And then just turn and walk out the door perfectly correct.
And in like true Bobby B style, like Robert Baratheon, he's like, oh, watch your fucking mouth. And he's like ranting, right? Like he's having a Robert Baratheon-esque meltdown in his chair. And he's starting now to shout to the hall how he will not accept this fucking insubordination. He will not accept any of this distrust or betrayal in his court. He's also kind of, you can probably tell, Brolin, from your previous conversation, that he is genuinely delivering this, but not to the people in the hall that think that they're being told of this, right? Like he knows he's got like snakes in this court, so he's doing this as like, I'm fucking onto you, with the guise of it being you guys.
And the second he says, like, he tells Lyneth to shut her mouth, he's gonna sharply look over at him and glare like, what the fuck, dude?
And he glares back at you, and he kind of like gives you the sorry bro eyes, like I just got into it. It's the hammiest production you've ever seen. But in true cinematic fashion, as the doors slam behind the Braddock family being escorted from Winterfell, they open up in Greenwall Keep. Where do we find the young Lord Brynden Braddock today?
We find the young Lord Brynden Bladdock. That's I can speak with words. Young Lord Brynden Bladder. Brynden is currently looking for both his ragtag motley crew of Greenwell Keep companions, Maester Nymor and Geralt. He plans on finding Geralt first, and then finding Nymor second.
So, fun fact about squires in Westeros, they are also basically grooms. So, as you wake up in the morning, Geralt is there ready to attend to you. He's got your clothes ready for the day. He has brought you a little bowl and a jug so you can wash your face and hands when you wake up. Like he is in full on like little servant mode as he's waiting for his lord to wake.
Morning, Geralt.
Morning, Lord. And then he like lays all the stuff out that he needs to. Did you sleep well, my lord?
I slept all right. How'd you sleep?
Like shit, my lord. But it's all right. I still got here on time.
Why didn't you sleep well, Geralt?
Well, I had dreams about what happened in my village because I mean, we were talking about it, and it it reminded me.
I'm sorry about that, Geralt. That weren't my intentions.
No, I know it's not, and Winifred said, I'm probably gonna remember it for the rest of my life. So
There's some things that stick with us forever. It's
yeah.
how we perceive
it's just
them that
one of them
matters.
things. Yeah. But I'm really keen to put that behind me and get out there, and it's a new day. I can prove myself useful and make today better than yesterday were.
That is exactly what we're gonna do today, Geralt. Now, he looks around his clearly empty room. Geralt, come here.
And he looks around the clearly empty room before he comes forward.
Now, today is a very, very important day for us, Geralt. We're gonna go see Nymor. And what I need you to do is, I'm gonna distract Nymor. I'll get him talking about prophecy, or I'll make something up that I had a dream or something. And what I need you to do is look around for anything that you think might make somebody really, really sleepy. Do you think you could do that for me, Geralt?
I can try. So full disclosure, my lord, I'm not too good with my letters. So I might mix up a sleeping potion for a murder one.
Okay, change of plans. You distract Nymor. I'll look around his study, and hopefully we can find something. Worst comes to worst, I'll go on.
What if I get Winifred? Because once the two start talking, they start flirting, and then they don't notice anything. I borrowed a loaf of bread when they were having a chat in the kitchen, and then they
Why are
never
you
even
winking
knew.
when you said chat? Why did you wink when you said chat?
I can't say.
What do you mean you can't say, Geralt? You're my squire.
Oh, my lord, please don't make me
Geralt,
say.
I command you to tell me what you're hiding from me.
Look, Maester Nymor and Winifred really like each other.
How do you know?
He looks at you like someone who's seen some shit. Look, sometimes, they went into the pantry once, and then I just left because I didn't want to be witness to that.
That's what people make food. That's disgusting. Oh, okay, well, look, the more you know, I guess ignorance is bliss and all that. All right, well, okay, so we'll go find Nymor, and we'll see if Winifred's about, or we'll play it by ear, all right? And then maybe I'll send for you to get Winifred, and then, all right, let's do that.
All right, yeah, okay. So, a little while later, unless there's anything else you want to do, Johnny, with
No, we're good there.
Okay, so a little while later, Nymor, there is a knock at the door. And just before it's answered, I just want to shout out our fam for hitting that RT goal, which means there's going to be a boon for our players, a positive outcome in today's session. But please do keep that tweet going because, I get to do more stuff to them the more tweets we get. Anyway,
No, wait, we have a pet too, right? We have a pet coming to us as well?
That's right. There is a pet coming. There is. So, stay tuned for that. I haven't quite fully realized this pet, but a pet is incoming. So, Nymor, there is a knock at your door.
What time is it?
How
Like,
early
how-
did Brynden rise?
He's up pretty early typically. Like, what would be our equivalent of 7 a.m., 8 a.m. around there?
Okay, so far
Surprisingly-
too early in the morning.
Yeah, that's inappropriate. But surprisingly, Namor actually is up, which he normally is not at that time, because that is an inappropriate time. Because he's doing his research, trying to find out more about, our Rose, our perhaps pirate friend, our pirate friend. So he's sort of sending off ravens and trying to he's trying to sort of maybe sending off ravens especially to our various in the Braddock lands especially, but the various watch the watch keeps along the coast, trying to see if this ship has been seen. He's trying to put out feelers to see, because I got a message from her, so that means she's somewhere around. So he's trying to sort of send out his feelers to see if he can locate her, or see if anyone's seen her, looking for basically gossip and whatnot. So he's up early, feeling like he should not be up this early, sending off ravens and yes, that is.
Okay. All right. So we haven't done this yet for a raven sending, but I would like you to make an animal handling check for me.
I will do. I believe this is a charm or train. A charm, yes.
Charm.
Because I think train is to get them going.
Yeah, it's like breaking a horse, right? Is animal handling train.
This seems important, and I currently have 3 extra dice, right? 3 test dice. So I will use 1. How do we do a temporary bump?
So what I would do, because you're using one of the blue die, these count as keep die. So I would bump up your animal handling skill temporarily by 1. We'll factor it in for you. Just remember to bump it back down once you've made the roll.
Because we're going to send off Scarlet, and we want, as well as other birds who are not Scarlet, but this is important. 17.
17. Okay, that's really good. So you attach your questions, your report. You send out the raven, and you watch. You make sure the raven is traveling in the right direction that it should be, and the dark wings are sending off the word as they flutter in the correct direction as far as you can tell. And this is when you hear that knock on the door.
Oh, and I also, of course, I've been spending some time writing on my findings about sort of the song that I found, because I'm going to get another chain. I'm going to you don't know, it's going to be all knowledge and history chains all the time. It's going to be one day, and I hear that I'm like, enter.
Morning, Nymor.
Oh, good morning, young Lord Braddock. How do you find yourself this day?
I'm all right, Nymor. I come with some interesting news.
Well, the way you have this heavy sigh, I do not know if you are actually okay, or whether or not that you're in your normal sort of moodiness,
Melancholy.
or if there is something wrong. Yes, melancholy, ennui perhaps. So tell me, what is going on? Is this normal moodiness, or are you something wrong?
I had another dream, more, and it wasn't as terrifying as the last one, but there was a man with a tattoo on his
A tattoo.
on his forearm, and it was a seagull carrying a rose.
A seagull carrying a rose. He starts taking notes.
And then he said something about some plant, Nymor. He said something about if someone eats this plant, they'll have the best sleep of their life. Do you know of any kind of plant like that?
Well, of course, there are many plants that bring about sleep. I mean, there are many different ways to do this. One, of course, is the best is sweet sleep for sleeping. This is one of the better ones to do. It is less, also milk of the poppy, of course, but sweet sleep is less potent, so therefore a little bit safer, than also less addictive. Milk of the poppy is, I don't recommend unless, of course, you're very injured. Yes, but also you do not want to take it too often because it can cause lasting harm if you take it too much. So it's one of these things you only have for short amounts of time. It's not bad, but too much is lethal though. So you cannot have too much if you have. So you only want a pinch for the sweet sleep. This is, safer of course than milk of the puppy. And he brings out a book of an herbalist book, and he goes. This is one of these things I studied in the Citadel. I must tell you the qualities and properties of plants are fascinating. You can do so many things with them. It is amazing how nature, something that is just given to us by the land, is both something that can heal you, can aid you, but can also kill you. It is this sort of duality of life, right? This is the life and the death in one space. The sun of dawn or the snow of the north, or the ways. But this is not important. This in the man in the dream. He had a tattoo. Did you have a sense of where this man may have come from? It was a gull carrying a rose. Did this man look threatening? Did he? Can you describe him more?
He seemed really calm. And this is obviously a lie, so I'm going to roll a deception. I'm going to use one of my blue guys, and I'm also going to use my pious feature because my deception is hot garbo. So,
Good.
wish me luck on that.
What does your pious give you?
1 extra dice per day.
Oh, nice.
It was like the one thing I really read up on when I was learning the system. I was like, hey, that's a good feature. I was like, that one has to be good. And now it's finally paying off, hopefully. Come on. Brynden needs a new pair of visions. Oh, let's go. That is a 4 is 8, 5, 13, a 19. Big roll.
Oh, nice. My intrigue defense, passive intrigue defense. Oh, do we do intrigue defense or do something else?
It's intrigue defense.
Intrigue defense? 11. So you beat me by 2 degrees of success.
Okay, so what is your let me think, persuasion rank? No, deception rank, sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
It's 2. It's a dose.
It's 2. So that would be 4 influence damage against your disposition rating. So how fondly you think of Brynden.
Oh, super affectionate. So that's 3. I'll take 3.
It's 3. It would go 3 against your composure.
Yeah. Because I trust this young man. I need to take...
I'm so sorry.
There we go. You wouldn't lie to me. We have this whole history. It's interesting. So, do you have a sense of this? Was this man northern? Was he southern? Was he perhaps not from Westeros? Did the girl look realistic, or was it somehow stylized? Give me something more to go on there, so I can do research for you.
He didn't seem like he was from here anymore. He had a... It wasn't really a southern accent like Lyneth's. It wasn't a northern accent like ours. So I don't really know.
What color was his hair? Something.
He had red
a
hair.
Sailor or red hair?
I couldn't tell. He had red hair, a mustache.
What color was the mustache? Was it blue? Was it
no,
dyed?
also red.
Okay, no, this is. And he,
Did you have someone in
where were
mind
you-
that would have?
No, I'm trying to see if he's perhaps Tiroshi or something like this. Where were you yourself? Were you in someone else's body? Were you? Can you tell what time was it? Was it? One moment. Geralt, perhaps you could go get me something to eat from the kitchen.
Of course, my lord. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
And as he leaves, Brynden gives him a look that's like, remember the plan. Remember. And hopefully Geralt remembers what the plan.
He looks at you and goes, I remember, my lord, as he walks off.
All right, so we don't need everyone knowing about your dreams. This is so. This squire of yours does not need to know this. Okay, so were you yourself? Were you someone else?
I wasn't myself, and I wasn't someone else either. It was like I was looking down on his forearm, and that's when I saw the tattoo. And then I looked up, and he was talking to a beautiful young woman with long blonde hair, blue eyes. She sounded nice.
And you have no sense of her accent, if she was northern, southern, something. Clothing, was she
northern.
a warrior? She sounded northern.
No,
northern
no,
woman.
she was dressed quite nicely as well. So I was a little
That's nice.
confused on that.
Did you have any sort of sigil from a house, something like this?
I didn't see any sigils, Nymel. No, just the seagull carrying the rose. Young.
How old was she?
Like
Young.
about my age.
Your age? Yeah. I will have to go to... I will look into the archives and see what I can discover about this. But you had no sense of danger.
No, no danger.
But it was a rose. You did not tell me. Did he seem like a sailor to you, or no? Did she? No, she seemed... did you have a sense whether or not she was highborn or not? Sounds perhaps highborn, or perhaps she could be,
They both seemed pretty highborn. They seemed like they had at least a decent bit of coin. The one man looked like he might have been carrying something to measure clothes. I'm not really quite sure.
There's Gulltown. This is could be Manderley. The blonde, blue-eyed. That's a question.
Okay, so as
I'm going to the archive.
this interrogation is happening, there's a knock again at the door, and this time Winifred opens it, and she has a tray full of food with bread on it, with some preserves, there's some cheese, some dried meats. There's a small beer, which is not as alcoholic beer, that's safer than drinking water. She's got it in mugs, and she comes in, and she walks between the two of you as you're talking to set it down. She clears some stuff off a desk, and she scolds you a little bit, Nymor, for the state of the place. And
Getting there.
honestly, Nymor, you're going to lose stuff, and I don't know how you keep track of any of your bloody documents. It's all over the bloody shop, I'm telling you. How do you even... And she's like really hassling you. And she's like, oh, what are you doing to bloody little Brynden, eh? You know, he's just trying to get about his day, and I'm down the corridor, and I can hear you. Is the lowborn? Are the highborn? Do they look like sailors? How is he supposed to bloody know? You know, it's just a bloody kid. Sorry, Brynden. Anyway, so as I was saying, and she's like got into this full
But Mistress Winifred, this is clearly you can tell so much about someone from the way that they dress or they carry themselves. For example, I can tell from the way that you are dressed and the way you act that you are a woman of great intelligence and also fire. You can tell just by the way you wear clothes.
Trooper, please someone gif that. That was amazing. And so Winifred gets like a little blush on her cheeks, and she says, I And I know you bloody well enough, Daimo, that you're trying to flirt with me to get out of being bullied for being a messy little bugger. So anyway, you're not going to get off the hook that lightly, even though I know I look amazing today. And you look very handsome in this candlelight / window light. And, you know, again, if I were unmarried, we would be in a lot of trouble. And they just start, she's starting like flirting hardcore with Naimor. This, by the way, is the Yorkshire auntie experience. If you have an aunt and she's from Yorkshire, this is what she's like. So during this, I would like you to roll me a stealth check, Brynden, so you can steal the sweet sleep that you're after.
Oh boy.
Also, Naimor would be very distracted with Mistress Winifred, and also this is very delicious preserves. The bread is very good, and then also studying this prophecy or this dream. He's a very distracted in this moment.
I'm also going to use my last bonus die just to be safe, because another whopping 2 category can't be great. So I'm out of blue guys. Please. Need this sweet sleep. Oh, that's a 10. I got a 10 banger.
Oh.
A 10. Okay. So let's think how we can do this.
Scooby-Doo style.
What is your passive awareness?
My passive awareness is mine. It is 12.
12. So
I am
despite the fact that you are distracted, and despite the fact that Winifred has just bent over to pick something up, and damn, you can see in the background, Brynden is like eyeing up your vials and scooting closer and closer, and maybe doing like that little finger, like trying to.
Young Lord Brynden, what do you need?
I was wondering if I could borrow some sweet sleep.
No.
Naimor.
If someone needs sweet sleep, have them come to me, and I will administer it. This is, again, as I said, could be dangerous. It must be administered properly by someone who is trained. Also,
yeah, sure.
Your dreams are no curse. You should not try to. Brynden, young Lord Braddock, we will speak about this perhaps later. Don't. I think I see what is going on here. We will talk about this. This is not. And you can tell that Naimor is concerned about our young Brynden, thinking that he's figured out what's going on there. He has not, because of the deception roll earlier, but he has an idea. It's the wrong one, but he still has one. All right, young Lord Brynden, you should take your rounds, visit everyone, speak to all the people, speak to the men-at-arms. I have been training you how to do this, how to run a keep, and this is your moment to do this. Go make your rounds, and I will be doing... there's just a quick glance at Winifred. Research in the archives about the dreams you've told me.
You're gonna do research about the dreams you told me.
Well, yes, I have extra food right now. I will go down there to the archives, gather up the things, start walking out there's a bit of a vibe, just a bit of a vibe as I head down towards the archive to do research for a few hours on the dream that I was told about, I'll just be there for a couple hours by myself, probably researching.
So as Naimor leaves the room looking the guiltiest he's ever looked that you've ever seen him.
Not guilty. Not guilty at all.
No.
Not guilty.
No,
not guilty ever. More like, if anybody in this room needs to know where I'll be for the next couple hours in private, not Brynden, then
Okay, let me rephrase. As Naimo leaves the room, looking the most dawnish he's ever looked.
Yes, better.
Okay.
Not guilty.
What are you doing as you are left alone in this room, Brynden?
Winifred is still in this room as well, right?
She follows Naimo not long after he leaves.
In a subtle way, though.
Oh, so the
I bring
solace.
the-
She's like,
yeah,
well,
I bring
I
the
gotta
group.
go. I gotta go dust an alcove, and then off she goes.
That's an alcove. Oh, all right, Gerald. Plans have definitely changed. And that was disturbing. I don't want to ever see Nymor fit again. Okay. So Nymor definitely knows something is up. He saw me try and take the sweet sleep, so here's the plan. Tonight, during supper, you're gonna sneak up here, take the sweet sleep, bring it back down. We're gonna put it in Nymor's drink. And then you're gonna help him to bed because he got really sleepy. And everything's gonna be great. Can you do that for me, Captain?
I mean, I can, but isn't that like poison?
Can I count on you, Geralt? And he grabs him by the shoulder.
He's like, yeah. As you shake him.
That a boy. All right.
All right. Okay.
You can't mess this up.
No. I'll do it. I'll get it. And as you shake this young boy, making him an accessory to dosing your own maester, we cut back to Winterfell and Riona. So it has been a little bit of time after you were all kicked out of Winterfell. But a very helpful peasant Wink put you up in the cottage. And you have better accommodations than you actually did in Winterfell. It's a little bit drafty. The thatch roof definitely needs some upkeep on it, but it is not damp. It is not a tent. And you're not in the middle of a horrible, breezy courtyard. And the evening is starting to wear on when you hear a horse outside. And you hear a horse pull up, and you hear the sound of someone dismounting, that like little crunch in the snow as they land on the ground, and footsteps approaching the cottage.
She's gonna sit there because she has a hint something's up, but she's not 100% sure, so she's playing cautious right now.
There is a knock at the door. Would Lyneth or Brolin care to answer it?
Brolin would move to.
I think Lyneth would just kind of smile. She would stay where she's seated, but she's going to let Brolin take care of it. I mean, I think by this point, at least, I'm hoping that Brolin has at least kind of mentioned that this was planned to Lyneth. Even if he hasn't gotten to the details yet.
But he's gonna he's gonna answer the door, but he's gonna open it with his left hand, and behind him he's gonna have his axe, like covering his body, covering it so you can't really see it. Just so we could.
As you sort of open the door a little to see who it is, you see the young Lord Manderley, Roland Manderley. He has a little travel cape slung over him, his hood pulled up, and he looks at you and says, I heard that that you and your family were removed from Winterfell. I'm just worried for Lady Riona. Is she all right?
Is there anyone with you?
No, I'm on my own. My father doesn't even know I snuck out. There's quite a talk going on about you at Winterfell. They say you're a traitor, is that true?
He won't acknowledge his questions. He'll open the door and like drop his axe and like make him realize that he was carrying his axe behind the door, and then he'll turn around and sit down next to Lyneth and look ashamed, so he'll like look down at the floor and things like that.
I think as soon as
as he steps
as soon
in,
as Brynden,
he bows respectfully to you all.
I think as soon as Brynden like brings him in, I think Riona will realize who it is. She'll like send. Oh, what are you doing here?
And he, beside like forgetting all sort of things that are proper and good, he rushes over to you and takes both of your hands in his. I says, "Oh, Riona, I'm so glad to see that you're all right."
What are you doing here?
Well, they're all saying that you're all traitors at Winterfell, and that can't possibly be true.
I don't know what's going on, but does your father know you're here?
No. I slipped away during dinner. You won't know I'm here. He barely even knows I'm here anyway.
How risky this is. If we're traitors,
And he
or if there's anything.
I know. I don't know what they're all gonna say, but not you.
She'll put her hands over his, like, what? And what now?
And
now that you're here.
He squeezes your hands, and he turns, kind of suddenly aware that he's not alone in this room with Riona, to Lyneth and Brolin. My lord, my lady, may I take Lady Riona for a short walk, just around the property? We won't go far.
Like Riona will look at Brolin and Lynette. Like, okay.
It's not up to me.
He turns to look at Riona.
All right. Now that you've come all the way out here.
And he smiles like a big goofy idiot, and he offers you his arm and leads you outside. And you start to walk a little bit just around the edge of the property. There's like a little garden in this cottage, which is now basically a dead winter garden underneath that snow. There's not really anything growing. But he walks for a while. And he, he's making light-ish conversation. Just the usual kind of stuff. Like, oh, this happened today, this happened today. I saw your brother training with the Lord Stark. Like, that was really impressive. And then he sort of grows quieter for a moment. And he says, Riona, if what they're saying is true, then at any point Lord Stark he could call for the execution of your brother and your family.
I'll look at him and just say, this isn't the first time Braddock's upset Starks. We're far away. And he has trouble alone. I don't think he intends to start 2 wars. So I think we're okay.
Riona, you're not far away this time. You're not at Greenwall Keep. You're here at Winterfell. He could come down here tomorrow. He could bring ice, and then that's it. You're all gone. You'd be gone. And his eyes are starting to well up a little bit.
All right, she'll go up to him and just give him a kiss. That's for coming all the way here.
I can protect you,
Don't-
Riona.
I know. I worry too. This was a risk. And I don't want you to get in any more trouble. For me. Than you're already risking. I don't know what's going on, but if it's with Stark, if it's Select level, you have to be careful.
He's got one hand in his pocket and he's playing he's clearly fidgeting in his pockets, and his other hand that is tucked in is also quite restless and fidgeting, and he looks at you and he says, I would get on a boat down to King's Landing tomorrow. I'd look King Daeron in the eye and I'd piss all over his throne if it made you happy, Riona. I don't care about this being dangerous. I don't care that my father's going to be upset. And then he's clearly mustering up the courage as he says, I love you, Riona.
I think she's a little taken aback, and she kind of wipes her eyes a little bit. I love you too. And I don't want anything to happen to you.
It's not gonna. Nothing bad's gonna happen to me or you. And he stops and he sort of turns you to look at him. Marry me, Riona.
No, it's not the time. It's not the time to joke about things like that.
I'm not joking. I'm deadly serious. Marry me.
She'll get real close to him and look him in the eyes. Are you sure?
Sure as anything. As sure as the tides. As sure as... I don't know. I really wish I was more poetic right now. But
She'll
all I can
kiss
think of
him.
is you.
She'll kiss him to keep him from.
He's about to go off on a really nervous tangent.
Yeah. That's your answer.
And he scoops you up in his arms, and he is taller than you, and spins you around
Yeah.
in happiness. Well, that went better than I expected.
And she's just she's smiling. She's probably the happiest anyone's ever seen her.
Yeah. I wish I could stay with you. I wish I could bring you back to the castle. I wish I could show you off to all of them. But I've got to go.
Hate to see you leave so soon, but in the future, you need to take care of yourself.
And he pulls you in for another kiss before he comes back and says, soon you won't be able to get rid of me, and you'll be regretting these words. But until then.
Till then.
And he turns and he watches you as he mounts up on his horse. He lingers for that one beat before he sets off again. towards the castle. And you are out in the snow. At which point, Brolin, you open the cottage door to find Riona stood there alone and young Manderley riding off into the night.
You just see her looking at getting the distant horse, and I don't think she realizes like how cold it is outside. Like she just got swept up into like she honestly probably should not be out here like this long.
You're gonna be all right.
Roland, yes.
Probably go inside. I don't want you to catch anything out here.
Yeah, I think you know that she's like tearing up a little bit. Yeah, inside.
Yeah.
Didn't realize how cold it was.
If it's any consolation, loving someone and having them leave, it never gets better. But you get stronger.
Yeah. He asked me to marry him.
And why'd he ride off for?
Because he needs to be safe. I need to keep him safe. If we want a future. And he can't just be riding off in the middle of nowhere, considering what's happened at Winterfell. I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope so too. Come on, it's not getting any warmer out here.
No, it's okay. I'll
And then
been out
as
here long enough.
she turns to go inside, he'll kind of lower his level a little bit and give her a big, like, bear hug, like right around the center.
Yeah,
Not lift her up, not like dominate the hug or anything, but just be present.
Yeah, she fully embraces the hug. It's probably something that Brolin maybe, like, I think of the siblings, I think Riona's maybe been the most distant, concerning what's been going on. So, at this moment, she'll just take that little bit of affection and kind of that back.
And then release and escort, or not escort, but like let you go first back into the cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you come back in, Lyneth has got the tea set open, and they're like, you know, probably mugs of just tea, and she's poured one and two, and poured two, and kind of looks at Brolin and is like, "Are you going to join us?"
I think I will.
So, what did you and Lord Brynden Stark decide for that wonderful Mama's show?
Well, it's certainly good that no one else knows you as well as we do. Rather.
Was that bad?
You stuttered.
Because I know if you're really as furious as you thought you would, he would be dead.
Well, he almost was.
So were you.
But if you didn't know me, was it convincing?
It probably convinced the people that you wanted to convince.
We do have that reputation going in. It's a lot easier to live up to.
Yes, that reputation was part of the reason certain people approached me.
You play with the hand you're dealt. There's something not right about who Stark keeps close to him. Foul play about
And,
pathogen.
well, the Boltons are definitely looking for an opportunity.
Sounds about right. It's within their colours.
They're very They don't wish to make sure that Lord Stark doesn't get married.
Well, if Riona wasn't smitten with Roland, he suggested a potential match between, if all this works out, between Brynden and Riona. I'm smart enough known women to know you can't tell them who to marry.
Really, he brought that up.
Well, yeah, I mentioned you were quite fond of Roland. And he said, if all this works out, she can marry me for all I care. Something along those
Not to
lines. I can't remember the quote exactly because then he punched me in the face.
Well, not to be self-effacing, but then if that's the fact, he must be in quite a bit of trouble then.
Yeah. And maybe the lords behind me have taken arms against him, but if we want to secure and safekeep our house, we have to get creative. And sometimes that means letting the past be the past.
Perhaps we should arrange for not this generation of Starks, but perhaps the next one?
I left my options open.
That's good. I left my options with Lady Bolton open as well. So,
I didn't get a look at the Lord Bolton. Is he a fighter?
he's a potential asshole. And a
Nice.
sexist pig.
So,
But
well, now we wait.
And we plan, hopefully, for Riona's wedding to Lord Roland Manderley. And hope. And there's other options
like
you wish to explore.
if they are to get married, I don't think that'll happen as long as we're viewed as traitors.
Well, and let's hope that whatever Losark has planned works to our benefit.
And I think at that point, Lyneth reaches out her hand and presses her hand on Riona, and then looks at Brolin and smiles and says, "Well, we definitely want whatever this is resolved in the next few months. We don't want any shade or possible scandal to be following the baby when they're born.
I also don't want my brother hearing about this before I get to tell him. Because if there's anyone that's going to blow this out of proportion.
You know him.
I'm hopeful that Brynden can be... Well, he's a young gentleman who will hope on in the future. And I may have left some things to help at a slightly broader view than perhaps Mr. Nymore provides.
They're
And
both
with those
great.
words- With those words, we move west across to Greenwall Keep. It is later in the evening, and Geralt slips you the small vial of sweet sleep that he has stolen from Maester Nymore's office. And he looks terrible. He is pale, he is sweating, he looks like the guiltiest child that you have ever seen in your life. As he does so, he's like looking constantly like this, and he says, if Winifred finds out I've done this, she's gonna tan my bloody hide.
No, it's gonna be fine, Cal. No one's gonna know. I've been walking around. I've been talking to a bunch of people. I've been doing my rounds. There's not a chance that Nymore will know that we took it. All right, so I think we'll be fine. Now, here's the next step of the plan.
He literally saw you try and steal it earlier today, and
No,
then
but it's fine.
gonna go
Everything's fine. No, it's fine. So I heard, Carol, that in the
Okay.
kitchen tonight they're making meatball soup. What I need you to do is, when me and Nymore are talking, we're gonna have a little conversation. You know, talk about 9 more things. Maybe talk about prophecy. Get them all juiced up. You're gonna bring us the soups, and in meatballs, put sleep. Okay?
You want me to you want me to put it on the balls? Couldn't resist, I'm sorry.
Yes, is exactly what I want. Carol. Can you do that?
Right. I think I can do it, yeah.
This is essential. Can I trust you with this, Carol? He gets like really
Of
close to
course I
Geralt's
will.
face.
And Geralt's like, I pledged you my life, dinner.
You did. Okay. Go. Get ready. We have supper should be served soon.
And off he goes, dashes off. Is there anything you need to do or prepare before supper?
Brynden would go and find his horse at the stables and prepare stuff to travel.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Enough for about a day and a half ride. Maybe take some rations. Nothing too crazy. Just grab his quiver and have his horse ready to go.
Cool.
And that would be it.
Sweet. So you know what's going to be the best bit about the clip that Lydia is about to make of that joke is there's a good 5-second part where I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to make the joke or I make the joke. So while this is happening, Nymore, what are you up to before supper?
Well, I did do some research. I was, I have been busy all day with a little bit of research things, and also, gathering, getting letters, waiting for ravens. The things that you do in the keep. Most of the time it was all very official, taking care of the people and. Yes. Also, ravens come in and out. Make messages, that sort of thing. In
A lot of things coming in and out in Greenwall Keep today.
This is totally normal. This is a normal thing that sometimes. What was there something about this? Not the bowl soup is not important. I'm going to bring the messages. I'm going to bring to Brynden. It's dinner.
So after your research, um,
Research. There are many different ways to research. There are look. I am an expert in the greater mysteries, and there are many different mysteries that and many of them are very great. Yes, you were saying.
anyway, so it is now approaching supper. And you have a lovely supper prepared for you. This is a fish. Ooh, we have a nice fish, course. And as Brynden said, there is the meatball soup that is eventually prepared, but that's a course that's not coming just yet. So you and Brynden are sat at supper. I imagine because it's on the whole family isn't here, it's a much more smaller sort of intimate sort of affair. So it's not as, formal as it is previously, but you two are, you're right there, Trooper.
Oh, I'm just waiting. I have a thing. It'll be great. And this is in no
Okay.
way to make Brynden feel guilty in any way. What is going to happen? It's okay.
The scene is yours. Take it away.
Young Lord Braddock, do not forget. And I hand him the branch of the small branch of the wayward tree. Don't forget to wave this for your food. It protects you from poison.
Thanks, Nymol.
Do the ritual.
He really hesitantly starts waving it, obviously regretting everything that's about to occur. And he's like, "Oh, this feels weird. This is karma
Feels
in a
bad,
nutshell."
don't it?
Feels bad, yeah. Sometimes it do be like that.
And after he finished, after he is finished waving, doing the ritual, the Braddock ritual of cleansing over the food, then I will take and I will cleanse all of my fish soup. The rituals of the Braddock clan are so amazing and fascinating in the way that they are tied to the past and to the history. The way that the founding of the family, the younger brother was poisoned. And so from this moment on, the Braddocks always protect themselves by the grace of the old gods. This is fascinating and amazing. But I'm getting myself lost. I have something for you. Something came. A raven came today.
Oh yeah. What did it say, Nymol?
Raven? That I cannot tell you. What Scarlet tells me is only between her lips or her beak and my ears. However, the message I can give you, and I go into my pack and I pull out like a sort of tightly wound message that's actually quite thick. So it's a good heavy message that seems like a lot of info on it, but it was tightly wound, so you can make it with the raven for you.
Takes it and unravels.
And I'm eating heartily because I worked up quite an appetite researching in the archives because sometimes, it just takes a lot of energy out of you. So I'm having my delicious fish soup from your sister-in-law. So, have you done your rounds? Have you spoken to the people?
Yes, I've done all my rounds now. I talked to the blacksmith, I talked to the stable boys, I talked to the master at arms, I talked to the soldiers, I talked to the guards, I walked on the wall, I puffed out my chest, I walked with dignity, all the things you always tell me to do. Yes, I did them.
Good. Maybe one of these days we'll be able to go out traveling again, huh? When everyone comes back, we can go and go back to the small villages and talk to the most ancient good wives in each village and ask them about the stories they know. That's always the best part of your training, when we would travel about. I was sad that Lady Riona could not come with us, but it's been too long since we've been out. There's so many changes now. But one of these days, perhaps before you turn 18 and no longer need a maester, we can do this at least once or twice more, huh?
Takes a beat. There's kind of like a little awkward silence. Not completely like, oh my god, like why aren't you talking? But it's a decent second. Yeah, Nymol, I'd really like that. I miss those days. They were much simpler, and my head didn't feel as cloudy as you call it. I'd like that.
Yes. While we are having a bit of time to ourselves here at dinner, finishing up my soup, having a nice roll, you know, it's in the trench and eating all my stuff. I think I know what is happening with you, and I want to discuss this with you briefly. You spoke about this sweet sleep, and I do know that one of the things about the sweet sleep is that it can give a dreamless sleep. And I would hope that you're not thinking about taking sweet sleep so that you may not dream. This is dangerous. It is unwise. It is not something you should do. Your dreams are no curse. They are a gift from the old gods. They are part of your lineage as a Braddock. And I know this is difficult and it is tricky, but you should not do something like this to. It would make me very sad to think that you would do something like this to yourself when it's. You are special. You have a gift, and this gift should not be suppressed or avoided. It is something beautiful, and I would not want you to do something that might harm you or would. Brynden, you will shine. I know it is difficult to be in the shadow of an older sibling. Trust me, I know this. This is something I'm well aware of. But you have a light, and you will shine. And do not make yourself less bright because you think you are a second. You are second to none. Huh? So do not do anything to lessen your intensity and your passion and all the things that you have about you. There's something that they are the things I've always admired about you. So I'm telling you now, as your maester, none of this sweet sleep for you, huh? Unless you actually have some sort of problem, but not sort of for self-medication.
And as he looks back, you kind of see really glossy-eyed, almost crying Brynden, and it's a mixture of guilt and happiness on like a deep level. And he looks up and he says, "Naimor,
yes,
I don't. Naimor, I don't want you to think. I don't want you to think I want to take the sweet sleep for some of my dreams. I want to know more. And I'm not living in the shadow of my brother. I've always found that the time I spend with you, I'm just learning from an older brother. So if anything, I've been living in your shadow all along, not Brolin's.
About to take
You're special too, Naimor.
The meatball puts it down. It's a little teary. It's that is kind of you to say. Something you. It is not something you say to make me feel better or anything like this. I have a brother and a sister. My brother is 20-something years older than I am. He's not young. And when I was born, my mother died in childbirth, and the year I was born was also the year my father died. They both died that same year, and I was raised was raised by my older brother, now the Prince of Dorne. He's a cold man, also in his own way violent, and he's not a person with a lot of love in his heart. And when I was born, the invasion of Dorne happened, but it was aborted. There was many politics, and when I was 10 years old, my brother, I start tucking into the soup. He sent me away to the citadel when I was 10, and at home in Dorne, I had no family really. I mean, I had this brother, but he was no family of mine, and then in the citadel, I also did not have family. You don't have family as a maester. But eventually, I went to Highgarden first, and then I come here to the Braddock lands. And if I'm not too forward, I will say it was being here with you these years, you and Riona and Lady Agatha and Ragnar. It was the first time I ever felt like I had family. And I know that I am just your maester, and that is there's a level of all that. But I've always felt like you. I've always felt like you were my brother, and Riona was my sister, and I always felt like I had a family here with you, and I want to thank you for that. And I know it's all changed with your brother returning. We are the same age, your brother and I. It's all changed that he's back, and I know this. And I know that our positions have changed, and it's not the way it could be before. I cannot sit at the table with the family anymore, and I cannot. What it was before is not what it is now. But you should know that I have so much love for you, and I have always been proud of you, and I only want what is best for you and Riona. And if being in your life has been one of the things that has made me happiest. So I know it's not proper maester talk and all of this, but you've never been in my shadow. You've always been in my heart. So I hope you know that.
As you're saying this, Nymore, you've been, tucking into your soup.
I have been.
And you sure have. You can start to feel like a drowsiness over you.
How many pinches?
Well, really, it wouldn't be Brynden putting it in the soup, so I would defer to Geralt, who brought us the soup.
Okay.
Pass on the blame.
I'm sure Geralt would probably have asked you, yes? Because he's a nervous boy.
Garrett would have asked how much to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with two, my lord.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So you just came so close to killing Nymore.
No!
3 pinches would have killed him.
3 pinches of lethal, my friend. Yep. I will make
so make you
could Steve, GM friend, could you make that virulence 5 roll, if you would?
Yep. Sure. Hang on.
Although it's 2, so it's might be a little iffy. Since 1 is safe, 3 is not safe. So 2 is like a little bit in the middle.
So fun fact, I've never actually done a poison check in Song of Ice
I
and
did all the
Fire.
reading during the last scene. I'm going to have to roll twice. Well, four times. Twice, 2 rounds, and then 10 minutes every 5 minutes, and then two rounds, and then 2 5 minutes. And the virulence, the toxicity is 5, so that's 5 dice that I have to with my
Oh my god.
endurance.
Okay, let's have
And
a...
I would say I feel like this is probably I feel like since it's 2 pinches and not 1, there's probably some worseness going on here, rather than since 1 is like not great, 3 is dead. I feel like 2 should give me a little bit more bad, don't you think?
Yeah, no, yeah, I do. Okay, well, let me make that 5d6 roll. A 20.
So my endurance is a 12, so that would be 2 degrees of success. That's for the first round. I will have now -2 dice on my cunning for the next frequently. But I feel like we should talk about making this more deadly, since we're in between the 1 and the 3. I feel like it should be a stronger effect. With
I just
the
wanted
1
to take it.
It's I'm just saying.
The way
that's
Trooper
poison. It's minus
playing this,
my
it's like
cunning.
when I play a prank against my Catholic mother, and she was like, "Oh no! You wanted to do this? Let's do this. Let's go all the way. You want to prank call me about you wrecking your car? Let's go for a drive right now."
So how about if we take the -1 on with the 1 pinch, it's -1 on your cunning, but for the 3 pensions it's -2 on your cunning and your endurance. So why don't we just do -1 on cunning and endurance, and we'll see if I
That sounds
go
good to
into
me.
I'll see if I get into a coma a little bit. So that'll be with extra dice, of course. So let's say that'll be -2 cunning and -2 endurance for that first round. As it begins to hit me. Second round also. Give me another one.
All right, let's go. 17.
That'll be 2 degrees. So that'll put me at I'm at a -4 in my endurance though. -2 in my endurance. That probably impacts my passive defense, yes? No, it's dice. Yes, right?
No, it's just dice. It's not the actual stat.
That'll put me at
So it doesn't affect.
-4 on each. And now I need the 2 rolls. I need the 2 rolls for the big effect.
All right.
18 and 23. Ooh, that's great. So that'll be what is that? 2 degrees and then 3 degrees. I feel like we should discuss I feel like we should go with the unconscious from the 3 pinches, but maybe not the death, because I'd be dead right now if this were 3 pinches, just a side note. So I think what happens is I'm out. Like, I just fall into my soup. If we go with the 24 hours conscious plus 10 hours for every additional degree, I think we get with that without the death, which will put me out for, 74 hours. Oh no! Yeah, I'm gonna be unconscious for 74 hours. I'm gonna be out.
So, Brynden, you have listened to this beautiful speech from Nymor, talking about how he is your family, how he feels that you are family to him. You are all he has in this world, and you watch his face have that moment of almost of recognition before his eyes fall closed and he's face down into his soup.
Brynden immediately kind of gets up and looks for Geralt, and he's like, Geralt! Nymor cracked into the good wine again. We need someone to take him up to his room.
Geralt runs out and pulls Nymor's face out of his soup to stop him from drowning, and he looks at you and goes, did we just kill him?
No, I don't.
Coma.
Keep it together, girl. I don't think we killed him.
Okay. Geralt's voice is at a level that only dogs can hear right now, as he is highly panicked. He's like, okay, I'll put him in his room, and he'll be all right. Yeah. He's gonna be all right.
And just stay with him. Make sure he doesn't like choke on his tongue. Lay him on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll get someone to help me. Like, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
You can do this, Geralt. I have faith in you.
Oh God, I hope so. And then he starts to like try and move Mason Nymar, but he's like unconscious, so he weighs like twice the amount he usually would, and he's like 12. And he's trying to move this fully grown
I
man.
think Brynden would help him as well. He would see that he's really struggling and that he needs help carrying Nymar. So as we're kind of shuffling throughout the hall, excuse me, yep, he just drank a little too much. It's the good wine. He's got the wine fever.
He, you know when you know what the Dornish are like once they start drinking.
Nothing to say, yep. And we proceed to take him up to his room.
Yeah, you take him up to his room and you put him in his bed, roll him onto his side to make sure he's not going to choke to death whilst he's drugged. So that really, Geralt is going to be preoccupied doing that for a while. This leaves you free, Brynden, to do what you want to do.
I think Brynden will go and what time is it of day? What is the time? What's the setting like?
So I'd say supper was about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So the evening is drawn on. It's getting into night. It's not quite at the equinox yet where it's already dark by like 7, but it's getting to that point, right? Where the sun is pretty low and it's going to be dark soon.
Cool. I think Brynden would ride to the portcullis of the keep and command them to open the doors. And ride out to the place where Brynden first acquired his green sight when he originally drowned on an expedition with Mason Nymar. So that is probably what he would do.
Okay. So this place, if you wouldn't mind describing it a little bit more for me. So we've got an idea of what this place is and why it means so much.
So the original place where Brynden drowned, I picture personally a small bridge with a rather strong stream enough to carry a smaller boy. Because Brynden drowned when he was like 12, 13-ish originally. So it's a small bridge just like kind of in the middle of the forest, and then further north of that is where rumor has it that Orc the Seer, one of the descendants of the first men who started House Braddock, used to go and make his prophecies and just do all sorts of spooky, futuristic stuff. So I think Brynden would continue to follow the stream, meanwhile mindfully kind of taking in the moment, because this is a place of trauma and just overall eeriness for him. This was like, the superhero's origin backstory part, like, oh, we're back here, great, this sucks. And it's dark and it's in the middle of the Wolf's so it's pretty spoopy. And he's more vigilant than he normally is walking around the castle, obviously, because the Wolfswood is not safe at night sometimes. So he seems pretty on edge with his hand ready to draw his bow at any time.
So with bow ready, you start to make your way up the stream, trying to get to that source, trying to get to that point where everything began for House Braddock. And you feel like you're walking for quite some time. When up ahead, you can see what looks like light somewhere in the woods, just slightly off from the stream, but a flicker of flame.
I think he would take off his bow and start to ease, like fire flame or just general light.
Like a campfire sort of flame. Not like the forest is on fire, but like there is light here being generated by a small fire.
I think he would try his best to be a stealthy bow boy and approach the fire going unnoticed.
All right, let's have a stealth check.
Oh. All right, green and black dice. Come on, green eyes. That is a whopping 5.
So you remove your bow from your back, you knock an arrow ready and waiting as you creep forward. And as you do, you step on a twig, which makes that really loud crack, which you feel like was heard in fucking Winterfell, right? When it's quiet, the smallest thing just sounds the loudest. And you can hear up ahead a sort of movement and hushed voices before an arrow flies past your face. Like, not close enough that you can feel it, but close enough that you know something went very fast past you. And you hear a voice going, "Oi! The fuck is out there?"
I think Brynden would also draw his arrow back and say, "Who the fuck is shooting arrows in the dark at me, huh?
Who the fuck is creeping up in your camp like a fucking creeper?
Who the fuck is creeping up at the point where... What are you doing up here?"
And you can see now that a couple of people have come into the light that you can see. And there is 2 men and 3 women. And one of the men has the bow, and he is like, "We're fucking camping."
Up here? In the Wolfwood?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
It
we were
wasn't
passing
safe to
through,
camp.
and it got fucking dark.
All right, well, just making sure you weren't raiders or bandits or people that shoot arrows in the dark at other people.
Well, I mean, you could have been a wolf or anything. We didn't fucking know.
Well, my apologies.
Jesus.
This
Whoever
is a
that
strange place to be camping, is all I'll say. My name's Brynden.
Come on. And the man that was shouting at you basically says, come on. Join us by the fire.
He gets up and restrings his bow on his back and comes to the fire.
All right. And as you are sat around the fire, they introduce themselves with names, just sort of like common folk names. You can clearly tell by the way they're dressed that they are folks who are not your average sort of traveler. They're clearly quite hardier. The man with the bow has got like braces on and some like light padded armor. And they share with you some of the food that they've caught. And you see with them, interestingly, as you look around the camp, there appears to be like a boat, almost like a Viking longboat, which has been carried up out of the water and is being used as a makeshift shelter and storage. And from the darkness beyond the boat comes a woman who is wearing a cloak with a hood pulled over, and she says, "God, I was just out there taking a piss. What the fuck is all this fuss about?" And as she steps into the light and pulls back her hood, you can see across her cheeks a port wine birthmark across her cheeks. And she looks at you, Brynden, and she says, "The fuck is this?" And that is where we're going to end our episode for today, on that shot of this mysterious woman with the birthmark across her cheeks that Johnny missed all of.
No, I could hear it. I have so much audio. I heard it.
Okay.
My VMix was like lagging out, but I got you. Oh.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, so with that shot, with her pulling back the hood, the fuck is this? We see a certain someone who may have been spoken of before. But that has been our episode for this week. Thank you all so much again for joining us. I'm loving telling the story with my wonderful friends who are kick-ass. We've had everything today. We've had fist fights. We've had poison. We've had a marriage proposal. I mean, what more do you want from your Game of Thrones? But before we do say goodnight tonight, I'm going to go around to my beautiful cast here, and they can tell us all who they are, what they do on the internet, and what their favorite bit of today was, because it was a jam-packed episode. But first, I will go to my friend over here, Trooper, Trooper, if you just wanted next week off, you could have just asked. Like, honestly.
No, I will be here. I may be unconscious the entire time, but I will be here. I will not miss whatever drama is happening. I'll just sit here with some popcorn. I'll even make popcorn. I'll sit here, I'll have the popcorn, and I'll have a lovely time. Oh, I may be unconscious, but I will be here. Wah! Wah! Oh, guess what?
What?
My character's in a coma. It's so exciting. It's like in a good opera when you're like in a coma, and I'll just be there. It'll be really dramatic. I'm very excited. So I'm Trooper SJP. My character's in a coma, and so exciting. You can find me the places on here at my channel. No, this is Encounter Roleplay. This is not my channel. You can find me here though on Mondays, and you can find me on my channel on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. For City Light and Shadow, which is a French resistance campaign. You can also find me, it's Monday, right? You can find me Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern at Laugh Love Lindy for Aether Walkway, which is a cyberpunk game. And then Saturday evening at 8 p.m. over at Praxagora, that's Mephoria's channel, who is, I think, over there, for The Regiment, where I play someone who is way less fun. He doesn't have a lot of fun because he's too serious. And that's where you can find me. And this was so great. I loved all of it. I mean, what do you pick? Like, do you pick like the beautiful proposal and like Riona's sort of moment? Do you pick Brolin's like using the flat of the poleaxe to just like murderize our Brandon Stark, but not murderize him, just to let him know that I could have killed you if I wanted to, but I didn't. Do you pick Lynette's beautiful letter to Brynden, which you chat don't know, but it's beautiful? Do you pick the buddy cop movie between Brynden and Geralt? I don't know what you picked because it was also amazing. It's great. I'm very excited. That's me.
Thank you so much, Trooper. And Shauna, hello, friend. How's it going?
It's good. Oh, it's just so great. And as far as favorite, I think I'm gonna have to go with the poisoning. I love that little bit of like, oh, you're like your older brother, who almost got the traditional Braddock older brother treatment of getting poisoned to death. So
He's
close.
really one of
That would
you.
be your real brother. Real brother than if you were
But yeah, this was so much fun. I'm John Flying Cirrus on Twitter, where I have my art and the games that I play throughout the week. And for this week, it's gonna be on Savor's channel. It is Embers in the Ashes, a Blaze in the Dark game, and we had a vicious like we destroyed a gang with spirit dogs and angry Leviathan hunters. So it was great. Everyone's good, and we are no longer in trouble. We're in so much trouble. And on Thursday, kicking off the Encounter Roll Dice charity stream, we are playing at noon Quest. So it's going to be a cooking / obstacle course session. So I can't wait. I'm going to be playing a Grumpy Cat, so that should be fun.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Shauna. Bill, my friend, how are you today?
I am dandy. Bill of the Horse on the internet. I do want to give an extra awesome shout out to Lydia, who's been a full ass hermit today with all of her clutch magics. Yeah, hearts in chat. Throw them up. Let us know. We appreciate. He's the fucking best. Anyways, favorite moment. I will say it did feel good to humble a Stark. But I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tie between like the heartbreaking scene with Riona and the poisoning, quote unquote, poisoning of I'm more. Like, I can't choose between that. Because also, like, man, like, if I would never stop giving Johnny shit forever if he, quote unquote, accidentally murdered Namor. I would hold that over your head for every game that we would ever do forever until the end of time.
I wouldn't, John. I wouldn't. I would take it. I would take that death. And then I would like spew up, like I would make it really dramatic so that like I'm on the table convulsing, all like, you know, Joffrey style, just to give you more trauma. I would totally do that to traumatize you. Just so you know.
Reminder that we're
And
all
here's the
friends
thing.
that love each other very much.
My favorite part was that, like, number of pinches for Johnny was totally fucking arbitrary. Like, he could have said, like, 4 seems about right, 7 seems cool, but he chose 2 arbitrarily, and, like, how close it actually was is bonkers. You can find me in other places on the internet right after this at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it's coming up here pretty soon. You can find me on Journey to the Obsidian Spire, a Dark Sun 5th edition D&D campaign where I play Horson, a retired Mull gladiator. And that's happening here in a couple minutes on twitch.tv/LFM_network. There's a lot of sweet ass pressure going on. It's cinematic, that's for sure. And whenever we get half of this cast is on Laugh Love and Lindy's Twitch channel for our Witcher TRPG game, GM'd by Greg Magnificent. When that comes back for season 3,
You and I are going to be getting our 80s on tomorrow night.
That's right.
We've got 80s.
On the LFM_network, on the Twitch channel, it's Troop and I are a la Miami Vice in a 1980s Call of Cthulhu game set in a Pacific Northwest college campus where we spent lots of money to look like Miami Vice, and are definitely real students. 100% actually a real college students, the both of us, and don't ask questions. And that's Degrees of Madness on Twitch, LFM_network. I have degraded this outro. Please cut me off. I
will say go check out Degrees of Madness. It is a show that I myself have been on as a totally legit English photography student who was not very eager to join a cult and pit 2 of the cast against each other to murder each other for a woman's affections. It's a good show. You should check it out. It's great. Playing Bill out, we are moving across to the wonderful Prax, who plays Lyneth. Hi, Prax.
Hi. This was fun. This was all fun. Lyneth is trying so hard. But somehow, like, the Braddocks just... She's gonna blame Nymor. It's Nymor's fault.
To introduce you to this phenomenon that happens in every single Game of Thrones campaign, the women work very hard to do things, and the men fuck everything at every turn. It's universal.
I will say
they
that
have
the
to do
paradise.
every campaign.
That's not how real life
was that
works at all.
Also, possibly true. But yes, no, this was great. I loved all of this. I want to know if Brynden read the freaking letter or not. Just because I know it's in the letter, but now I need to know if he read it. Oh God. I also loved Trooper being Trooper and ensuring that the most traumatic event could happen as he fully embraces said traumatic events for everyone else. And I love the buddy cop show that was Geralt and Brynden. And I loved Riona and her sweet, sweet summer child, Roland. And I even loved watching Brolin not kill Lord Stark. So that's good. But hey, y'all, as for me, well, I'm at your John or Practice Growth as my stories. You find me around on Twitch. And you can find me on Friday over on Wandering DM for Cyberpunk Red. Fun times in that game. And then Saturday on my channel with Trooper for the Regiment, where, we had some very, very juicy fruits were dropped on Saturday, like family drama at its best, and even more family drama is going to come next week. Also can't wait for Witcher to be back, because I know I'm feeling okay. Ainfra's unconscious, it's fine. And everyone else has to deal with the current problems they created. It'll be great. But as for that, check my Twitter, because that's where I'm going to be, all the fun things I get to do, all the fun, wonderful people, fine, fabulous folks here, all of them here, that I get to hang out with. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Blams, I am so glad you said 2 and not 3.
Oh, me too. Oh, something that I realized while making the rash decisions that I do as this character is that Brynden is like all the bad monkey brain ideas that I have still in my Envoy body, and then they come to life while being Brynden. So, when you said 2, Brynden was originally I don't know, a bunch, and then I was like, that probably won't go well. So I guess 2. I'm very glad it wasn't 3, as Bill said. I'm very ecstatic about that. I would have been so sad if that killed Nymor and that's the way he goes, especially just with the context. And it kind of would have, it almost would have been dramatic, funny irony, because it would show that Brynden still is a boy and has yet to rise to lordship status. I'm Johnny Blams. I play Brynden Braddock here. I just want to go around, and you can find me at Johnny Blams on Twitter, on Twitch. I do cowboy RP stuff. Follow me if you want, etc. But seriously, please give a big claps to Lydia for doing all that stuff on the fly. I'm a huge immersion snob, and seriously, going into scenes, I'm like, oh my god, some people might not hear that, but I can hear it, and it's a completely different immersive experience. So big claps to her. I love watching, even when they're not in the same scenes, I love watching Bill and just, you guys have some teamwork that it feels both of your characters on the same team, and I love it. I love seeing Riona get the morsel of goodness and light in our world is Riona and Lord Manderley's love, and I love that. And Troop, you just, I love Nymor so much. He is just a vibe in himself. I would 100% watch a full season of a Californication Nymor spinoff where it's just him courting the lovely lady of court, sneaking around and pretending to be a legit Maester. I would watch the shit out of that. And then Suze, your ability to just capture many different characters and make them all unique in the matter of seconds is truly impressive and just awesome to play with. So thank you guys so much. I love this show. It makes my week. It makes my life. That's my rant.
Oh, thanks, Johnny. As for me, I am Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I am a variety streamer who does video games, I do art streams, I do tabletop RPGs. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace, spelled just like that, not with 2 N's, because a very nice American lady gets so confused when she gets tweets that are meant for me. But you can find me on my own channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern for Wild RP, in which I'm playing a outlaw turned school teacher turned outlaw turned revolutionary. What? And then on Wednesday, you can find me right back here on Encounter Roleplay for Shinobigami, in which I play the kick-ass delinquent ninja Asuka Higashikata, who got her special ninja power stolen last week. So I gotta go get back this week. I know. So that's at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Encounter Roleplay. Other than that, I am the media and marketing coordinator for Black Cats Gaming, who are an independent tabletop RPG company who have just published The Spy Game, which is a 5e powered game of international espionage and action. Please do check that out, because word on the street is we're going to have a campaign coming up soon on Black Cats. So you didn't hear that from me. But that's it from us for this week. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. Shout out to our YouTube fam. We love you very much. And we'll see you all next Monday. Take care, everyone.